And good morning. Let's go ahead and do our reading lesson. Now, today is a skill day? No, it's I don't know what it is. But anyway, you don't need your book. All you're going to need is your work text, but you don't have to open that just yet. I just have to teach you a little bit of something, okay? Now, I have a feeling this is something that you probably already know and you probably already understand. And there's two reasons behind that. The first reason is because you've been homeschooled your whole life. And so typically this is just something you're going to know. And another thing is, I can tell that you have been taught to have a relationship with God. And so this will help in that. Anyway, and I've spelled a word wrong here. Adventure. That one. Okay, so let's imagine that it's Saturday morning. Okay, you got to get up. You got to clean your room. You got to mow the yard. And you got to do some other things that, you don't mind doing it, but you don't really want to help do. You have to dust and clean the bathrooms, and it's just a cleaning day on a Saturday. And it's a pretty Saturday. So, how do you feel about getting out of bed that day? You know you have to, right? But you're just like, ugh, right? Yeah. Okay, now imagine a different Saturday morning. It's a pretty day. You've planned to go to an amusement park, maybe Six Flags or something like that. How do you feel about getting out of bed that day? You're like, bam, I'm getting up. Woo, I'm going. I'm ready. Maybe you're going to go fishing that day. Ooh, I'm ready. Bam. Okay. What's the difference between those two Saturday mornings? The first one you're like, and the second one you're like, all right, yeah, let's go. Right? All right. That strong reason for getting out of bed that second Saturday is called motive. Okay? You had a reason or a motive for doing something. Now, when writers write stories, they create characters, and these characters have motives. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not good, because we have motives that are good and motives that are not good sometimes. We're not supposed to have those that are bad, but we do. Now, think about to the story Runaway Friends. Remember when you read that? Okay, what was the reason or the motive that Rachel had to win first place in all of the races? What was her reasoning behind that? To make friends, right? That was her motive. Think about his first bronc. What was the reason or the motive for Billy's breaking that horse? He wanted his first bronc, right? Think about the story that you just read, Lessons from Mr. Lee. What was the reason or the motive for Bill's riding with Mr. Ryan to and from Taekwondo lessons? His motive was fear, right? He was scared, afraid of those boys out on the street, right? Okay, let's look at these words right here. We've got love, greed, honor, and sense of adventure. And then I just kind of wrote here a little definition as to what they are. Okay, now love would be a deep sense of care and concern, a strong liking for something. Greed, a selfish desire to get more of something. Honor, special respect, good name and reputation. Sense of adventure, a desire for an unusual or exciting experience. Now, you probably know that this one would be a wrong motive, right? The rest of these are good motives. They're not bad. Sense of adventure. Some people love to be adventurous, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as they keep that under control. Now, these are some of the motives that characters might have in a story. When you recognize a character's motive in a story, you can typically make a prediction about why a character says or does something. Sometimes a writer has a character explain his motivation, and sometimes the writer hints or implies the motive. Now, I want you to listen to this very short story, okay? It's very short. I'm going to read you 3 tiny little short stories. They're just little tiny ones. And then you're going to look up here and tell me what you think their motives are. Alice and Brent ran to hug their grandparents. "Oh boy," Brent said as he looked around the farm. "Can we go exploring?" "Well," Grandpa said, his eyes twinkling, "stay inside the fence, okay?" "Okay," Brent replied. He looked at Alice. "You coming?" No, I want to go inside with Grandma. Why don't you come with us? And miss seeing the cows, dogs, and barn. I want to see the meadow and the creek too. So, what makes Brent want to go exploring? What's his motive? He's got a sense of adventure, doesn't he? He's like, I don't want to go in the house. I want to go out here and see what kind of things I can find. He has a sense of adventure. So the author lets us know that by the words that the character says. Let's listen to the next one. Ron and Alex got the game board out. I'll go first, Ron said. Then you'll have a turn. Alex shrugged. The game started. Ron drew a card and made the first move. Then Alex drew. He moved his piece 5 spaces. When Ron drew again, he could move only 1 space, and so he started to draw another card. It's my turn now, Alex said. I get another turn, Ron said sharply. Since I'm first, I get to go twice. Now, what is Ron's motive? Why does he want to go again? Greed, right? He's greedy. He wants to, he's selfish and he wants to win, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's just his selfish desire to get more of something, to get that game won. So his motive is greed. Let's listen to the last one. Crash! Todd's soccer ball smashed Mrs. Martin's window as he kicked it past Joe. Wow! Exclaimed Joe. I didn't know you could kick it that far. Neither did I, moaned Todd. It'll take me months to pay for that window. No one saw us, said Joe. If we leave now, Mrs. Martin won't know it was you. It would be nice not to have to pay for the window, thought Todd, but he knew what he should do. You can go home if you want to, Joe, but I need to talk with Mrs. Martin about her window. Now, why does Todd want to talk to Mrs. Martin about the window? What's his motive? Honor. He wants to take responsibility for what he did and keep his good name and his good reputation. Now, he could just sneak out of it, but then it would probably be on his guilty conscience, wouldn't it? Right here and in here, right here. That's right. All right. So, there's one more. It's a real short one. Why does Sam and Joy's mother was usually in the kitchen cooking when they got home from school, but today she was sick in bed. The kitchen was a mess, and a basket of unfolded laundry was sitting by the table. You know how Mom hates a messy kitchen. She must really be sick, said Sam. I know what you mean, agreed Joy. Let's help out. I'll clean the kitchen while you fold the laundry, and when I finish, I'll help you. So, why do Sam and Joy want to clean the house? What's their motive? They love their mother. Love is their motive. Okay? All right, so that's going to help you on your page today. Now, it's going to be work text page 14. If you'll turn to that, I want to explain something to you right quick. Now, there's a verse right here I'd like for us to look at. It comes from 1 Samuel. I love the Old Testament. It's just my favorite. I love it, love everything about the Old Testament. 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles are some of my favorite. I love reading about the kings. So 1 Samuel 16:7 says, For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh at the heart. That is a verse that tells us that man may not know your motive, but God does. God knows your motive. So let's always try and pray, or let's always pray and ask God to help us to keep our motives pure and clean. Okay, now what I'd like for you to do for your assignment, there are 8 questions on here, and it wants you to answer these in complete sentences, and it's about the motive in the story that you read. But I only want you to do numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, make sure they're in complete sentences. Your answers are in complete sentences. Don't forget the uppercase and the period at the end. Okay, and answer the questions as best you can. When I get this and I get to look at it and I understand that you understand what you did, then we'll be good. But if I get the answers and you didn't do it right, then we'll go back and we'll practice on those other 4. Okay, but there's no sense in you doing all of them when you could just do some and I can tell if you understand. Okay. All right, that's your assignment, and that'll be all for today.